Wiener and Dodd developed the theory of illness trajectory, but they did not create a schematic. So Bianca and I decided to create one for it. First, we're going to start talking about the total organization and the central worker. The central worker is actually the ill patient. The total organization includes the family, the spouse, family, friends, and any healthcare professionals that the central worker comes into contact with. The first thing that we're going to explain that affects all of this is the concept of self. That includes the identity, temporality, and the body. The body includes activities of life and derived perceptions based in the body. The identity is the conception of self at a given time that unifies multiple aspects of self and is situated in the body. The temporality is the biographical time reflected in the continuous flow of the past, present, and possible future interwoven into the concepts of self. All of this is affected by the total organization and the progression of the illness.
The ill person or patient is the central worker. However, all work takes place within is influenced by the total organization. Types of work are organized around the following four lines of trajectory work performed by the patients and families. First is illness-related work, diagnostics, symptom management, care regimen, and crisis prevention. 2 is everyday life work, activities of daily living, keeping a household, maintaining an occupation, sustaining relationships, and recreation. 3 is biographical work, the exchange of information, emotional expressions, and the division of tasks through interactions within the total organization. 4 is uncertainty abatement work, activities enacted to lessen the impact of temporal, body, and identity uncertainty.
The balance of these types of work is dynamically responsive, fluctuating across time, situations, perceptions, and varied players in the total organization in order to gain some sense of self-control. This interaction among the type of work creates a tension that is marked by shifts in the dominance of types of work across the trajectory. As the body changes through the course of illness and treatment, the capacity to perform certain types of work and ultimately one's identity are transformed. This leads to uncertainty of concepts of self, which changes the body into uncertain body, which is faith is shaken in the body or body failure. The conception of the former body, the way it used to be, combined with the altered state of the body at present and the changed expectations for how the body may perform in the future. Next, it changes the body's identity into uncertain identity, which includes body failure and difficulty reading the new body upset, the former conception of self. Also includes an altered temporality, impairs the expected course of life. And last but not least, the uncertain temporality, which is the life is perceived to be in a constant state of change related to the illness and treatment. The concept of the self as the past is viewed differently, or the way it used to be. Expectations of the present self are distorted by the illness and the treatment, and anticipation of the future self is also altered.
A major contribution of this work was the description of types of uncertainty abatement work. These activities were enacted to lessen the impact of the varied states of uncertainty induced by the undergoing cancer chemotherapy. These strategies were highly dynamic and responsive and occurred in a varied combination and configurations across the trajectory of illness for different players in the organization. Those enacting these strategies affected the conception of self as they monitored others' responses to the strategies as they attempted to manage living with illness. Types of uncertain abatement work. Pacing, the resting or changing of usual activities. Becoming a professional patient, using terminology related to the illness and treatment. Directing care. Balancing expertise with super-medicalization. Seeking reinforcing comparisons. Comparing self with persons who are in worse conditions to reassure self that is not as bad as it could be. Engaging in reviews. Looking back to reinterpret emergent symptoms and interactions with others in the organization. Setting goals. Looking forward to the future to achieve desired activities. Finding a safe place to let down. Establishing a place where whom people, true emotions and feelings could be expressed in a supportive atmosphere. Choosing a supportive network. Selective sharing with individuals deemed to be positive supporters. And taking charge, asserting the right to determine the course of treatment. A major
Illness, particularly cancer, disrupts the usual or everyday conception of self and is compounded by the perceived actions and reactions of others in the sociological context of life. This disruption permeates the interdependent elements of biography, identity, temporality, and body. This disruption, or sense of loss of balance, is marked by a sense of a loss of control, resulting in states of uncertainty.
As life contexts continually unfold, dimensions of uncertainty are manifest, not in a linear sequence of stages or phases, but in an unsettling intermingling of perceptions of the uncertain body, uncertain temporality, and uncertain identity. The experience of illness always is placed within the biographical text. That is, illness is experienced in a continual flow of life. The domains of illness-related uncertainty vary in dominance across the illness trajectory through a dynamic flow of perceptions of self and interactions with others.
This short video was brought to you by Ginger and Bianca. Have a good day.